So, hello Shiva, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. So this is like your day two at the National Software Testing Conference. How do you think it's going so far?
Amazing. So, yesterday there was quite a lot of interesting session on the latest trends on AI, how
Yeah,
to utilize AI into the software testing life cycle.
yeah,
So, pretty impressive, and for me, a lot of knowledge and insight taken away from this one, and going to be
yeah.
really useful.
Nice. So has there been like a particular session or a workshop that you found very interesting?
Yeah, I think there was a couple of them. Particularly, the keynote was top notch. And then there were a couple of conversations around fintech, and then
Yeah,
obviously a very interesting session on AI, which is taken by I think the CTO of one of the company. I don't remember exactly then,
yeah.
but that was also kind of a very good informative
Richard Simmons,
session.
right? I
Yeah,
think yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, all in all, the whole session yesterday was really useful, and
Yeah,
looking forward to the one today.
yeah.
And I think there's one or two different workshop happening today. That is also seems to be very interesting.
Yeah, amazing, great. So, like, because you also spoke at yesterday's conference, you had a speaking session as well. We have received like some questions for you from the audience. So, firstly, regarding the recent crowd strike, there's been like some talks around inadequate testing. So, the question was from the audience that how can we address the challenge of testing timelines and budget being squeezed into transformational deliveries?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, it's one of the common challenges across the industry that when it comes to a transformation delivery or a particular update or an enhancement, due to many delays,
Yeah.
maybe it's the code delays or the delay in fixing the defects, etc., etc. At some point in time, there's quite a lot of push on squeezing the testing timelines, or the budget may not be
Yeah.
readily available to have all the different testing phases conducted. In my point of view, I think it's more of educating the risk to the stakeholder, because
Yeah.
when we are not testing a particular area or squeezing the timeline, obviously that has quite a lot of untested areas coming into picture, and the impact of that on customer or
Yeah.
the business or the revenue, that has to be educated very well with the
Yeah.
customer. And then we are handling the transformation initiative as a program test manager or a test manager. So you have the responsibility to come up with a good number of alternative ideas. So
Yeah.
and it's more of like optimizing your testing in the best way you can by merging and purging the test cases, or
Yeah.
picking up the priority test cases that would be useful for you to get the comprehensive testing done.
Yeah.
Adopting the risk-based methodology, obviously that needs a bit of a conversation with the business stakeholders, product owners, and all to understand how we categorize the risk, and then
Yeah.
obviously based on that you do the testing, and then implementing automation as much as possible. So all of those are actually going to be really useful to kind of mitigate that risk. But again,
Yeah.
we will not be able to mitigate it completely. So that's the reason why the educational activity with the stakeholders, and trying to have a level of conversation to inform them about the importance of having the full testing
Yeah.
with all the scenarios, whatever originally planned, that should be actually kind of a meaningful approach.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, amazing. Thank you for that insight. And I think the next question we've received is how can we strategize testing effectively for mainframe modernization programs to ensure optimal quality?
Yeah, I mean, when I've started my career,
Yeah.
I've heard about the terminology that okay, mainframe is going to die soon. We're not going to have a lot of projects or work going on in mainframe. But fast forward 18 years,
Yeah.
mainframe is still there, going very strong.
Yeah.
But there are quite a lot of organizations in the UK and in the US as well started looking at alternatives, and they started moving into newer technologies That would mean that a transformation program should be, initiated to move the product or the code from mainframe to a newer technology.
Yeah.
One of the key challenges would be all these codes or products are written in the early stages of time, like in 90s or particularly in 90s, right?
Yeah.
So the biggest thing is they're all very complex.
Yeah.
Number two, there won't be enough documentations available for all of those. So when you look at from a transformation initiative perspective, the first thing to understand is get the requirement documented in the right fashion. So you'll have to adopt various methodologies for that. Particularly, reverse engineering comes into picture, which will be a very useful exercise to go and look into the mainframe code, understand the logic, and then write your
Yeah.
documentations and requirement accordingly. So, where testing team can help is work closely with the reverse engineering team, evaluate the requirement coming out of that process, and make sure that you are finding as much as static testing issues at the very early stages. And again, that exercise is going to give quite a lot of insights and knowledge around how the process works on mainframe. And when it comes to real testing, it should be, I think, far comprehensive than any other program which you look at it, because some of these are one single product, some of these are a series of products integrated together as a
Yeah.
larger product and mainframe. So in that scenario, when you look at the test planning, you'll have to ensure that you have a thorough system testing activity to test the component in the new world and then compare the results with the mainframe should all be planned in, and then the integration end to end, all of those should be done in a way that you're always checking your outcome back to the mainframe result to ensure both are aligned. And
Yeah.
that is where most importantly an exercise of data proving comes into picture, right? So when you manage to get the product set up in the new world, you will have to use a large volume of data to run through that new world product and come out with a set of results that you wanted to compare exactly what is happening in mainframe for the same data, and then find out the issues as early as possible. And once the data proving exercise using a set of test data is proven as working, or it has actually met the exit criteria which you have defined as a testing team, you'll have to jump into the next one where you do the same exercise using a production set of data, and then ensure both the systems align
Yeah.
as much as possible. And one thing to note down is, when you do this kind of an exercise, you may end up finding a lot of mainframe specific issues, which
Yeah.
is exist in the existing system. And that is where you have to be very careful. You will not be able to get the 100% match of result in both the system. And you have to really isolate those mainframe specific issues and look at how the product in the new world is behaving in the exact same way if we consider those
Yeah.
non-issues as well. So
Okay.
I would say it's going to be an interesting challenge for organizations to do that
Yeah.
kind of a migration. But there are examples where organizations have done it and
Yeah.
proven as a working example. So obviously, get the best practice out of it and then test it thoroughly over and over again. Ensure that you get it done in the right fashion so that there's no impact in terms of the customer journey.
Yeah, yeah. That's some very good points. I think it definitely answers the questions that the audience has had. Thank you so much for answering the questions and appearing on the 31 Media podcast. And I hope you have a nice time at the conference.
Thank you very much for the opportunity and looking forward to the next set of session.
Amazing.